Are lining up around the block for the first day of legal marijuana sales in Colorado. Take a look at this crowd in Denver, braving the snow to wait for their turn to step inside and buy weed right out in the open, just like alcohol. Buyers started lining up about an hour before the first pot shops opened. As you can see in this picture, our Casey Wyan tweeted out this morning. And it's the first one, or the first one, stepped up at the counter shortly after 8 a.m. He paid $60 for an eighth of an ounce of pot and marijuana-infused truffle. Interesting. CNN's Casey Wyans watching the comings and goings in the most ambitious marijuana social experiment on record. So I guess, how's it going, Casey?
Well, it's really busy here, Martin. We're at Evergreen Apothecary in Denver. And you mentioned alcohol. You know, we're all familiar, at least I'm familiar with the term bartender. I learned a new word today. These are bud tenders here. They are helping customers decide which strain of marijuana to buy. There's different effects, different smells of different strains. And so they're here as kind of consultants helping these customers, many of whom are coming here and saying they actually need an education as to what kind of marijuana they should buy, what form of marijuana they should buy. Now, we've got a camera outside, and we can just give you a sense of the line. I mean, it's a little bit after 1 o'clock local time. This business opened at 8 o'clock in the morning. There are still dozens and dozens of people lined up outside. The business is handing out numbers. Take a number, wait in line. They've handed out 700 numbers so far, and they've serviced about 200 people. So we don't know if they're going to be able to get through all of those people before the business shuts down for the day, but they're going to be busy again tomorrow. There were concerns about supply because of all the anticipated demand. The business owners say they've got enough supply to get through the foreseeable future. If you do come here and want to buy marijuana, it's not cheap. $50 for an eighth of an ounce. Colorado residents can buy up to 1 ounce. Out-of-state residents can buy a quarter of an ounce. Very, very big day. Very, very big turnout here, Martin.
Yeah, I profess that I'm not a big pot fan, but I do find this whole thing fascinating. Last hour you mentioned the use of coupons, which was just really surprising. And now I'm wondering, is it possible, like other stores, they give out maybe free samples?
No one's given out free samples, and my understanding of the law in Colorado is you can't do that. There are several things you can't do. Obviously, you can't drive under the influence of marijuana. You can't give it to someone else or resell it to someone else. You can't take it across state lines. So there are some regulations and restrictions, and of course, you have to be over the age of 21, Martin.
Yeah, we're going to talk a bit more about the regulation. All right, Casey Wyan, thank you. Fascinating insight. Selling pot in Colorado is hardly a free-for-all. There is a lot of oversight. Denver even has a pot czar, and she is with us, joining us on the telephone. Ashley Kilroy is the city's executive director of marijuana policy. So thank you for being with us. Happy New Year. And let me ask you, how is the first day going from your perspective?
Well, the first day has gone very smoothly. We're very pleased with that. We had a number of individuals in line, all acting respectfully and responsibly, and moving through those lines. And also, from what we've been able to see, people are respecting the law that this law prohibits open and public consumption.
When it comes to this law, what's your biggest challenge?
Well, right now, what we've been focused on in the last couple of months is moving towards this day, moving towards opening some retail marijuana shops. As you know, this is going to be today's the first day, but this is going to be a transition period, and more retail marijuana shops will be opening over the year. And what we've done is we've only allowed individuals that have already been medical marijuana shops who have a proven track record to move into this retail market. Yeah,
and of course, fans of pot are going to be watching this, but also many municipalities, because as we say, this is kind of a very first step in the nation. We want to show you this. It is a map. You can take a look at the city of Denver. They posted this map showing where to find legal pot shops. And are tourists welcome, and do they have to abide by special rules?
Well, of course, tourists are always welcome to Denver, but we don't anticipate any type of marijuana tourism. There aren't going to be any pot shops or any pot cafes or open and public consumption. The law, Amendment 64, which was passed by our state voters as an amendment to the Constitution, really only permits private personal use of marijuana for adults over 21.
All right. Ashley Kilroy, as I say, this is a fascinating subject. Thank you very much for taking your New Year's Day to talk to us on the telephone.